What a perfect show tonight. AEW Dynamite from Austin, Texas was picture perfect from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. What's up, you guys? This is Joseph Conlon coming to you with your AEW Dynamite review this week on Wednesday, February 12th, 2020. And yes, just like I said a few seconds ago, from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. tonight, this episode of AEW Dynamite was a perfect show. It was perfect. Really not a lot of mistakes on this show. I mean, maybe like one or two, but like besides that, a lot of things showed tonight. We see rematches from matches that have happened in the past. We got the best women's match that AEW has ever produced. We are seeing Jake Hager wrestle for the first time in AEW, which I will talk about. And we saw the future of AEW go head to head. MJF and Jungle Boy. MJF at 23 years old, Jungle Boy at 22 years old. They are the future of AEW. And again, we'll talk about it right here on the channel. But before I dive into everything that has happened tonight on Dynamite, make sure you guys go check out my News and Rumors video for last week as I talk about more the WWE Q4 press conference call with Vince McMahon, all that stuff. I want to get right into this AEW action, man. A lot to talk about from tonight's show in a great way. The show kicked off with Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, SCU versus Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page for the tag team titles. And before the match got underway, we got a vignette, we got a short promo from the Dark Order that with them saying that wishing SCU luck in the match tonight for the tag team titles. They're waiting for their time to strike, and the Exalted One. We're waiting for the arrival of the Exalted One. And I'm pretty sure after Monday night we know who it's going to be. It's probably going to be Matt Hardy, and I think he's going to debut the show after Revolution, which is in Denver, Colorado. So then Christopher Daniels was like, I'm going to go to the back, I'm going to take care of this. He's going to go find the Dark Order. So Daniels left ringside for the tag team title match. So Kazarian and Sky were out there all alone against Hangman and Omega. And, man, this was an awesome tag team match. Just like the match they put on Jericho Cruise. I expected no different. I'm not even shocked that they put on this type of match. With one thing, with Hangman and Omega as tag team champions. With them as the AEW tag team champions. Tag team matches on AEW have been fire. They have been awesome the past few weeks. You had the Butcher and the Blade versus the Young Bucks a few weeks ago, which was a really good tag team match. You had the 8-man tag from last week, which was great. And then you had this match. You had this match with SCU and Omega and Hangman. And, I said earlier that we showed a lot of things that tag teams or singles competitors have chemistry. These two tag teams have great chemistry together, and, they killed it again. For the second time in, I want to say 3 or 4 weeks, they killed it tonight. Unbelievable. So in the beginning, we got Omega and Frankie Kazarian. Omega gets Irish ripped into the rope, and Scorpio Sky gives him a cheap shot with a kick to the back. And then Omega gives him a big boot to Sky. Crowd was booing Scorpio Sky for that one. But, and then SCU get offense in on Kenny Omega. Omega gets the hot tag on Hangman. Hangman, man. Ever since he has, started tag team matches with Kenny Omega, his whole character has changed. He has shown more charisma. People care about Hangman, and he's putting on great matches. I'm not saying he wasn't putting on great matches without Omega, but he's on top-notch level right now. He's in one of the best storylines in AEW, in my opinion, and he has been killing it with this new alcoholic gimmick since December, and it's all going to come crashing down eventually. It's going to come crashing down at AEW Revolution, you see. We're going to go to the end of the match here. Omega gives Frankie Kazarian a V-trigger. Hangman gives Scorpio Sky a suicide dive. Hangman gets back into the ring and does the buckshot lariat into the V-trigger combination to Frankie Kazarian. 1, 2, 3. Page and Omega retain the AEW Tag Team titles. And it was announced later in the night that next week in Atlanta, they will be defending the AEW Tag Team Championships against the Lucha Brothers, who pinned them in the 8-man tag last week. So that's a pay-per-view match in its own. Lucha Brothers versus Hangman and Page. I'm sure they're going to tear the roof off in Atlanta next week. So you want your answer why the Lucha Brothers are in next week's Battle Royal? There you go. I'm still feeling a little sick, by the way. After the match, Dark Order, they come down the ring with John Silver and Alex Reynolds, and they face off with Sky and Kazarian. Best Friends come out, and then the Blade and the Butcher come out, and then Jack Evans and Angelico come out, and then the Young Bucks come out. And they all brawl, teasing for the Battle Royal next week. That was cool, I guess. Really unnecessary. I would have just rather seen a stare down between SCU and Dark Order. That's just my opinion. I don't know. That's just what I think. But overall, everything about this was awesome. Everything. Sami Guevara versus Dustin Rhodes. Dustin wanting revenge on Sami for him losing to him on the January 1st edition of Dynamite from Jacksonville. This was a really good match. It's a really good match. I have to say it was better than the first match, but the real story was what happened in the aftermath. Dustin and Jake Hager kept giving each other stare downs during the match, and it was kind of like Dustin at the end was sending a message to Jake Hager when, he hit the cutter at the end on Sami Guevara, and he stared right into Jake Hager's eyes, sending a message right to him, with Dustin getting the win, of course, which was rightfully deserved. It was in his hometown of Austin, Texas, so he totally deserves to get this victory tonight over Sami Guevara. In a really good match, but the after point was the important part. He says, don't walk away. He says, turn around or something like that. So Sami Guevara is walking back. He said, no, not you. I'm talking about Jericho's bitch. So we got a Jericho's bitch chant from the Austin crowd, which was awesome and funny. And he said, are you ever going to step into this ring, or are you going to... he said, you're failing in your MMA career, and you're already failing in your AEW career, and you haven't even stepped in the ring yet. So he challenged him to a match, at AEW Revolution. He says, you broke my arm, and I'm coming out for revenge. So at AEW Revolution, we are getting Dustin Rhodes versus Jake Hager. Should be nice. I think Jake Hager should absolutely destroy Dustin Rhodes at Revolution. I'm sorry. At Revolution, Jake Hager should destroy Dustin Rhodes. Maybe you can do a ref stoppage, but I would just have him destroy Dustin throughout the match. It's gotta be a statement win for Jake Hager, I think. It's gotta be a statement win. Before this match, we got a vignette from Darby Allin talking about how Sammy Guevara dug a skateboard into his throat, and it was a mistake, and he challenged Sammy Guevara to a match at AEW Revolution, and then he said, "Hit me up," mocking Guevara, so that was funny. It was really hilarious as well. So it looks like we are getting Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara at Revolution. Potential match of the night right there, man. Potential match of the night. After this, we got a segment with Dr. Britt Baker. And this might have been the best thing she has ever done in AEW so far. She says, last week, I was just coming out to help. Last week, Yuka's tooth was very loose during the match, which I don't know how she figured that out, but she's a dentist. She said Yuka's tooth was very loose, and all she wanted to do was get it out for her. So that's exactly what she did, and she did it for free, and she was making fun of how Yuka didn't even have rent for it. So, and then Tony Schiavone brought up the Nyla Rose Riho match, and she said it should be a fantastic match, and at the end of the day, both of them are number 2, and I'm number 1. So the crowd was booing Britt Baker loudly here. The arena is storming with boos. And she says, I'm just trying to be a role model. All I see is chubby Whataburger faces from the restaurant Whataburger. So the crowd was booing through the entire rest of the segment. That line and the heat that she got tonight was brilliant. That was the best thing that Dr. Britt Baker has done on AEW television so far. And I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. I love this segment. And you could tell she is very comfortable as working as a heel. You could tell. So that's good that she's succeeding as a heel, because she wasn't succeeding as a babyface at all. Now the next step is we gotta get her better in the ring. And when we get her better in the ring, then she will be that top female in the women's division that people have imaged her in May. Nyla Rose versus Riho for the AEW Women's Championship. Out of all pay-per-views that AEW has done, which was only 3, the 19 weeks of Dynamite, this match was by far the best women's match that All Elite Wrestling has ever produced. That is a fact. This match, I didn't have high expectations for it, but man, this was incredible. This was incredible. What can I say? You had the underdog mentality of Riho come back, like she had it in October when she faced Nyla Rose for the vacant Women's Championship. She had it again tonight when she kept kicking out at everything Nyla Rose had to offer. And, the crowd was very split between Nyla and Riho. But toward the end of that match, Austin, Texas wanted Riho to win that Women's Championship. But at the end, Riho went for double knees. Nyla Rose speared. She gave her the sit-out powerbomb. And, I'm losing my words here. Nyla Rose beat her. And she became the brand new AEW Women's Champion. Well deserved. Nyla Rose, for one, deserves to be the AEW Women's Champion. And two, we needed to get that title off of Riho. We needed to get that title off of Riho more than we needed to put the title on Nyla Rose. Because Riho, yes, there are people out there who like Riho, but she was off television for weeks as Women's Champion, and people were like, well, where's Riho? Isn't she supposed to be defending the Women's Championship? She wasn't there for 6 weeks, and then people turned on her, and then she beat Chris Statlander, and that got even more people to turn on her, because people wanted Chris Statlander to win that match, which she should have lost the title then. And now we get to tonight, and she lost the title to Nyla Rose, which is the correct decision to do. And I'm guessing she's gonna get a rematch in the future. I don't know when, but we'll have to see what AEW does with the women's title picture going into Revolution. It should be very interesting. But again, this was the best women's match that AEW has ever produced. Heck, Riho even got 2 neck dragon soup or whatever I can't remember the suplex that Kenny Omega does. I don't remember. I don't remember off the top of my head, but Snapdragon suplex. That's what it is. A Snapdragon suplex. Riho pulled off 2 of those on Nyla Rose. That was nice. It was very nice. And there was also a spot in the match where Nyla set up a table, and Riho used it as a bridge to give Nyla the double knees. So that was very nice. And then, like I said, man, Nyla Rose deserves to be the women's champion, but we need to get that title off of Riho more than we needed the title on Nyla Rose. So during commercial, Nyla's in the back. She embraces Tony Khan. Tony Khan gives her a hug, and then she faces up against Kenny Omega. Omega goes to shake her hand, and she resists, and she's telling Kenny something, but we can't hear because it's in the middle of commercial break. I would have really liked to hear what Nyla Rose had to say to Kenny Omega then. It sucks that we didn't get that during the Dynamite show. But we come back, and Lexi, I have no idea who she is interviewing Chris Jericho. And Chris Jericho is, we didn't want to pick a fight with Moxley. We wanted to be friends with Moxley. But all Moxley has done has been a scumbag. He turned on us, and we had to poke out his eye. And next week, I've hired someone to take out Moxley limb for limb and leave him unbearable for Revolution. And that man was Jeff Cobb. I'm gonna save that for the end of the show, and we're gonna talk about Jeff Cobb after the Santana Jon Moxley match. MJF versus Jungle Boy. This might have been MJF's best match in AEW. Actually, this was great. This was a great match between MJF and Jungle Boy, in which they got some technical offense in to get together. They both got up at the same time. Crowd chanted AEW. They both got in their faces. MJF with some heel tactics. We go to commercial break. The match is playing out. Like I said, MJF looked really good in this match, and this might have been his best match that he's ever done in AEW. to be honest. That is honestly probably until Cody at Revolution, but you look at MJF, who is 23 years old, and you look at Jungle Boy, who is 22 years old. This is your future for All Elite Wrestling. These two guys are the future of All Elite Wrestling. So it was a very nice touch to have this match tonight. At the end, Wardlow comes out trying to help MJF. MJF gets the diamond ring. He punches Jungle Boy. He gives the ring back to Wardlow. He gives Jungle Boy a double cross, and that's it. MJF gets the victory over Jungle Boy. After the match, Wardlow slams Jungle Boy to the mat, and Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt come out to make sure Jungle Boy is okay. Just a little too late there, fellas. Just a little bit too late. And next week, we got the all-important steel cage match. The final step until we get to Revolution with Cody and MJF. Will Cody survive the steel cage against Wardlow? We'll just have to find out next week on Dynamite. And next week's Dynamite is a freaking stacked show, man. It is pay-per-view worthy, in my opinion, if you ask me. You got that steel cage match, which is the headliner of the show, basically. That's obviously going to be the main event. You got the tag team battle royal to see who's going to get a shot at the tag team titles at Revolution. You got the Lucha Brothers versus Hangman and Omega for the tag team titles. And you got Jon Moxley versus the debuting Jeff Cobb. Now we're going to talk about Santana versus Jon Moxley. Eye for an eye. We got Jericho, Guevara, and Hager of the Inner Circle sitting in a press box. Moxley comes out for his entrance. They show him in the concession stands going out through the crowd. It's very cool. One of the coolest entrances in pro wrestling, in my opinion. That is badass. So then Santana goes to attack Moxley. So they're going at it in the crowd. Moxley throws Santana into the ring mat, or onto the ring mat, and then they go into the ring. This match was very, very physical. And I forgot to bring this up earlier, but Santana had a really emotional interview with Jim Ross earlier. Talked about his childhood and how he always seen darkness, and he called his father to help him. And his father said this was his life every single day. And he was talking about the death of his father. And how he didn't even get to say goodbye. And he never got to say how he loved him. So it was very emotional. It was a very emotional interview. But at the end, Jon Moxley is on the top rope. The ref is checking on Santana. Ortiz spits alcohol into Jon Moxley's good eye, so now Moxley is blinded, and Santana goes for the cover. Moxley kicks out at 2. Moxley is staggering. He's trying to find Santana and bump into each other. He turns around, gives Santana a paradigm shift. 1, 2, 3. Moxley defeats Santana as expected in a very physical match. This was hard hitting and physical. But the aftermath was the important part, as the Inner Circle, they came down and attacked Jon Moxley. Jericho with the Judas Effect, Guevara with the 640, Jake Hager, the Big Herd with the knee to the balls. But after Jeff Cobb comes out and gives Jon Moxley tour of the islands. And I believe Jeff Cobb is now a part of the Inner Circle. We'll have to see about that. So now the Inner Circle's got 2 giants in Jake Hager and Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb is signed to AEW. AEW's Twitter confirmed it tonight. That is a great signing for AEW, in my opinion. He's going to be a monster in AEW. They're going to have Matt Hardy on their way. He's going to be the Exalted One for the Dark Order. Lance Archer is probably coming. The Revival, they're probably coming. Brody Lee is coming. And Brian Cage might be on his way as well. So the roster is going to look entirely different come the summer months for AEW. And that is my AEW Dynamite review right here on the Big Fight Field channel. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel. As we got NXT TakeOver Portland coverage this weekend and AEW Revolution next weekend. Oh no, not next weekend. The following weekend after that. And I might or might not be doing Super Showdown since it's a Saudi Arabia show and those shows suck. I'm debating about it, but we'll see. Like this video with a super kick. Share this video with your friends on Twitter. Comment down below what you guys thought of tonight's AEW Dynamite episode from Austin, Texas. I thought it was a perfect show tonight, man. It was a perfect show for AEW Dynamite. And next week's show is looking like a pay-per-view. I can't wait. Follow me on Twitter at Joseph Conlon. Follow Eddie on Twitter at Eddie Mullins. And I will be right back here on the channel tomorrow for your NXT review right here on the Big Fight Field channel. Go home episode of NXT TakeOver Portland this Sunday. Have a good night, guys.